Hello, everybody. This is all of our Raven fans and Oriole fans. This is Charles, the owner of Ravorisports. So definitely like and subscribe if you like all this type of content that we're providing for you. Definitely like and subscribe to all of our social media platforms. The bottom of the screen, Genesis Notary Services / Facebook. So if y'all are looking for any notary services and you live in the Shenandoah Valley area, we definitely have that for you. We'll come right out. Mobile notary services, wedding efficient, and again soon we'll be adding loan signing to that. You never know what else is coming to the notary service business there. ravorisports at gmail.com. Definitely, like if you are still looking for merchandise like that, we're still the website is obviously ravorisports.com. It's still in progress as of right now. Could be coming soon. We're still working on that happening pretty soon. Still waiting for the name to migrate over as well. You can get merchandise like this. Hopefully this isn't a collector's item. We'll go into that the Lamar jersey right there. This is a medium that you can get right on the site. So definitely, if you go to Ravery Sports Facebook page, you'll see that on there. Definitely, and more items like that. Definitely, we'll be putting hats and other stuff specifics on there. But again, you can always reach out to me, Ravorisports at gmail.com. Ravorisports at gmail.com if you are looking for anything. Or just go ahead and message me on the Facebook page or the LinkedIn page that we have. So definitely, thank you for joining us this week. We are going to be doing a couple of things. It's mock draft time. I love the draft. So we're going to be going ahead and doing a lot of draft heavy information today. We're going to be doing the Ravens mock draft. Towards the end, we're going to be doing a lot of the whole league mock draft. So we're going to just be interesting to see how this fits as far as what the Ravens will do in the draft. Now, as far as my rules for mock draft, I don't do any trades in the mock draft. I'm not going to do any trades as far as the mock draft goes or anything like that, simply because they haven't happened yet. So I don't do mock draft trades or anything like that. We're working with what's currently right here in the draft. Okay, so this is what we do it. Players in like a more old school, like if they haven't declared yet or whatever. I mean, I think we're past that point already, but just what the current board says as far as mock draft. First, we're gonna go ahead and check out the Ravens, as we always do first here in Ravery Sports. So again, the Ravens have several picks here. We're gonna go over what we think the Ravens will do. Again, we'll do the whole league here later. But 22, spoiler for the larger draft. We're going to do the first round. By the way, the Ravens here, we're going to do the entire draft. Brian Branch is the name we have. So he is a corner safety from Alabama. Some spots I see him as a corner. Some spots I see him as a safety. This is absolutely a Raven type player whenever I see him. Very versatile, hits very well. They put him in linebacker. You put him in nickel corner. He spent the first couple years, I think, at Alabama in nickel corner. I think he's absolutely a guy the Ravens would take in round one. You could put him at the corner. You could put him at the safety spot. I think at nickel corner, he's a day one starter. I think if you put him at safety to replace Chuck Clark, he's a day one starter. I think if you put him outside along with Humphrey, I don't know. I don't know if he's a day. I mean, eventually he will be a star. I mean, I definitely have no problem with it. But I don't know. It may take him about 7 or 8 games. I think if you're going to put him at corner, I think a lot of teams will be looking at him at safety. He's pretty high in the draft. I think he falls to 22 also, too, for that reason. I think there's a couple corners ahead of him that will go ahead and go before him. I think there's about 3 elite guys at corner. So I don't think he falls that high. And if he's at safety, this is about where teams would take safety. So like 22-ish. I think there's a guy. There are a lot of really good corners in this draft. This is why I think the Ravens will take a corner in round one. Brian Branch in the first round. We like those Oklahoma receivers there. Marvin Mims, I think 3 rounds. I think you'll definitely see receivers. I mean, you have to take receivers. That's true. They have to do it. Marvin Mims. When I see him, I think this is more, a little bit of a projection pick for me. When I look at Marvin Mims, I think this is more in line with the Ravens usually do. Now, we could argue they shouldn't do what they've been doing. But I think like this type guy is the type of guy that they would do here. I like him. I think he's got a good future in the NFL. Speed, lean, tallish receiver. I think that's someone I think that the Ravens would go ahead and take a look at. He's not overly tall, I suppose. I mean, he's kind of. I think he's in. I'm looking at. It's like around the 5'11" range. He's the reason why he's falling into the third round. I think he's not a super. He doesn't have the 4.2 speed, and he's not 6'4". I think everything else he does right. Great hands. Love his hands. When I was watching the clips of him, so he was a third round is about right. Third round's about right. Lots of potential here for Marvin Mims. This absolutely, too, also is a projection pick. What I think there is. Rashee Rice from SMU. Love his explosiveness. Love his ability to get downfield. Tall. Now, this is a taller one, Rice. He's very good. I didn't like the competition he played against. That's just me. Maybe call me a bit of a snob, I guess. If somebody doesn't play at Alabama. Or Alabama or LSU, it's kind of easier to tell, in my opinion, like when guys play at the larger schools. Not bad in the Senior Bowl. Not bad in the Senior Bowl practices. I like his profile there. Tall, lean, things like that. I don't know as far as separation. He's got to go ahead and work on that. He doesn't, to me, separate enough to be higher than the fourth round. And he didn't really play in that offense in SMU that's really pro-like. Same with Marvin Mims. They kind of don't. It's sometimes it's tough to tell on their route running with some of these receivers. I think that's a trend in this whole draft, even earlier guys. But they are. I think fourth round is about right. Now here's a big guy. Absolutely. I'm sorry. I'm struggling to say his name. Coburn for Texas. This is actually absolutely Raven like all over him. Really huge. He's like 345 pounds. There's no way he'd be going this late in the old NFL where they really valued that nose guard position, that nose tackle position. He'd be much, much higher. But he's really big, period. John Madden's philosophy, a lot of times, and I listen to that as far as players, when you draft them late like this or they come from nowhere, what are they usually? What usually prompts success for these guys? They're a big guy or they're a fast guy. This is a big guy. This guy is 345 pounds. You may be getting rid of, we don't know yet, Michael Pierce or things like that. You have big Travis Jones. This guy will fit right in on your defensive tackle spot. They have a history of drafting a lot of these guys, D-tackle, Kendrick Coburn. Definitely try and run the ball in this body. Good luck with that. Trying to run the ball. I think he's absolutely would fit the Ravens in the fifth round if he's there. I think the Ravens easily, they've got to be taking a look at Coburn there. This was a joy to watch him. Deuce Vaughn. Can't wait to talk about him. 6th round, Kansas State. Super small, right? This is why he's going in the 6th round. But if you might be losing Justice Hill, you're going for like a young running back, like a late round guy. Whether this guy will ever be a starter bell cow, I don't care. Darren Sproles, think of it. Kevin Falk, pick one. Danny Woodhead, pick one. A guy like this, catch the ball out of the backfield, tremendous speed. No way anybody gets in front of him, catches him from the backside. Has some running ability, can run between the tackles. I think he's too small for that. I think he's too small, which is why he's going this late. But definitely a guy that you can put on your roster. He would be excited. He would be excited. Please, if you haven't done, definitely watch film of this guy, Deuce Vaughn. Outstanding pick, 6th round. If he's there, it would be fantastic to watch this guy every week in a Ravens game in a Ravens uniform. Definitely punt return, kick return possibility. Never going to be. Most likely, this guy's never going to be a starter in terms of bell cow or anything like that. But absolutely, this guy is going to be a receiving back. Definitely, and that's what you want in that type of round, like that late. A guy like that, a guy who's going to go ahead and be selected late and into your team. When you go in the 5th, 6th round, I love guys that are you're looking for contributing guys that can help you on special teams, guys that can help you on 3rd down, guys who can develop, guys who can, not necessarily do. And that's how you can build a good team. You build a team by getting guys like that, and then maybe later on they become starters, and maybe on become bigger contributors and become Pro Bowlers or whatever. Or you can take those guys and spin them off and get draft picks or whatever, and they can help, etc. That's definitely what you do. So Ravens mock draft, a little analysis of it. Corner they have to do. Wide receiver they have to do. There's no question about it. Corners are very heavy in the draft. When we actually get to the mock draft, we'll actually go over that. But corners are very heavy. You'll see a lot of corners. I think there's a lot of defensive end talent, lots of defensive back talent in the draft, and that's exactly what teams are looking for. You'll see a lot of those early, I think. Receivers, not so much. I don't think this – it's funny. The Ravens may be waking up to the fact they need a receiver, and they don't have him out there like that. I don't see many in the draft that can help you early. I don't see many in free agency that can help you early. It would take – I think it would take a trade of some kind to do that. And again, now one thing I would say, too, with the mock draft, I only do the drafts where what's actually there. I'm almost positive the Ravens are going to make a trade at some point. They're gonna trade back and actually get more picks. I don't know. They may trade a vet or something like that. They may trade Patrick Queen's name has been out there. Chuck Clark's name has been out there. They may. I'm sure they're going to look at trades to get more picks of some kind, and maybe just trade back in the draft or on the clock or something like that. But I'd be shocked they stand pat with what they currently have. But we don't mock it because it hasn't happened yet. So there is the mock draft for the Ravens, and definitely in doing this, we will do a total draft as well. We'll do the total NFL draft here in a minute, as far as the NFL, as far as all the teams in the mock draft. All right, so let's do some larger NFL content here as well. NFL heavy today, because draft and mock draft and everything and all that. So we're going to do some larger NFL content here. Where will Jalen Ramsey play next season? Where will Jalen Ramsey play next season? We know what Marlon Humphrey wants, right? The Rams are very interesting. I don't know what exactly is when you have a season like they had. Okay, well, are you going to blow it up because you're filling 5 games? You got a lot of vets on your team, or are you going to go ahead and run it back? They could do what the Ravens did. Such, hey, look, we had so many injuries. Let's see what we really have here as far as our team. Looks like they're doing a little half and half. So looks like they're moving off some guys. I mean, they've already gotten. Looks like Bobby Wagner won't be back. Jalen Ramsey looks like they're trying to move him. It looks like they're doing a little half and half measure. They're going to keep some guys and get rid of others. Where does he play? I'm not sure what exactly. I think it depends on a lot if they're actually able to move him in a trade. If they can actually find a team to trade, because that's why they didn't release him like Bobby. I mean, they think that they can get a trade, or they've been offered a couple trades. If they can get a trade, I think it could be anybody. It could be a Carolina. It could be a New England. It could be a lot of those teams. I think the Bears are always in play for. I mean, with the cap. I mean, they're like $80 million under the cap, so I think they're in play for everybody. I think Dallas makes the most sense. If I had to pick a team, Dallas makes a lot of sense. I think he's a brash guy. I think that Jerry Jones would like a guy like this. I think you have him on one side, Diggs. I think he can see, man, it would really improve that defense. I don't know if they have the space to pull that off. I think Dallas would be mutually would be the one I think he would be interested in too. It's a good team. You know, you're trying to win the Super Bowl, etc. I think Dallas would be good. Would be a good pick if they actually go ahead and he goes to Dallas. I think it'll be Dallas if I had to pick anyone, but it's still tough to tell what they, this depending on what the circumstances are. With Carson Wentz released, will Sam Howell start for the Commanders? Let's talk about Wentz first. Wentz has a lot of talent. I don't know what's going on. He I'm starting to see the Elvis Gerbach thing with him, where you look at it on paper, all the stats look good, everything was good. And I can't find players. You don't hear players standing up for this guy. You don't hear players saying good things, but you don't hear. It's weird. So that tells me there's something that's not football here with Wentz. I mean, even with the Colts, I mean, statistically, he wasn't bad at all. I mean, he had the one bad game, but like it seems like there's stuff happening with him that's not football that we don't quite know about. So Wentz he'll land somewhere if he wants to. I'd be shocked if somebody didn't want to take. I mean, why wouldn't you want to take a guy with his talent as a backup quarterback somewhere or a bridge quarterback somewhere? Are they going to go with Sam Howell? I don't think so. I think that's a bit of a smokescreen. They have to be looking at Derek Carr. They have to be looking at an Aaron Rodgers trade. They have to be looking at those things. Of course, Lamar's name is mentioned with everybody. So they have to be looking at those things in the draft. I don't know. The reason I think they're putting that out there, this may be the way it goes. They're picking kind of low. I don't think they get any of the quarterbacks. And I don't know how much cap room they have to get a quarterback. Jimmy Garoppolo would be somebody I look at here. That would be some, where it wouldn't be huge starter money. He's better than what's there. He's a vet. That'd be somebody I'd look at here, like a Jimmy Garoppolo type pick. Something like that here. I'm not buying that they're just so sold on a 6th round pick. I think our 5th or 6th round or something like that with Sam Howell. Eric Bieniemy didn't come in to do that. And I don't know how sold he could be because he didn't play last year. Well, Daniel Jones signed for $45 million with the Giants. I mean, this is the world we're living in. $45 million for a guy who's easily. I mean, say what you want about Lamar. This kind of more goes to what we're talking about with Lamar. This is what you're left with, Daniel Jones. If I'm the Giants, I pass. Why would I do that? I'm not gonna give him $45 million. I mean, he's certainly not worth that type of. I mean, if any quarterback is, but certainly not. He's never going to make a Pro Bowl for you. He may. Well, I think maybe he makes the Pro Bowl again. Maybe he Get you there for, but they were out in the first round. I mean, he's better than he was been, but 45 million, no thank you. For me, do I think it'll happen? Yeah, I think they'll probably sign him. I don't know if he gets 45, but he'll get top of the league. I mean, that's kind of the way it works. Um, I wouldn't do it, but I think it's going to get done. The Giants are also very conservative. They don't. You could argue that about Eli Manning. That was at the time. Even though he won 2 Super Bowls for him, but you could. I wouldn't commit to this guy at 45 million, but they're going to. I think him and Saquon are going to get large contracts. Yeah, I'm just shocked. I'm shocked that I even have that question like that he came on the feet like 45 million for Daniel Jones. That seems very crazy. Well, Matt Nagy, he's the successor to Andy Reid. I've heard this a couple times. Like they may be bringing him back if it hasn't already happened. Right, they bring him back as the OC, and I was hearing it was like maybe like success him as to Andy Reid once he leaves. Andy Reid has given no indication that he's retiring anytime soon, but he is in his 60s at this point, so it would make some sense. Okay, to consider a successor. Very interesting. They would talk about this, and this is out here. As soon as you get rid of Eric Bieniemy, very interesting. All these years, Eric Bieniemy was there, considered this hot assistant coach, and I think he left because they weren't considered this. I wasn't not going to say Bieniemy put it out there that Reid might retire or anything like that, but it's very, very interesting that the next guy you want to hire, Matt Nagy has done a great job with that offense for you. He was the coordinator before Bieniemy had it, so I'm no question about his ability as an OC, but I think he's given a little bit of a raw deal in the Bears. The Bears weren't terrible. I think under different circumstances he might have stayed, and it may work. But very interesting that this would come out in light of that. I think Nagy. I don't think Reid's going anywhere anytime soon. It's definitely out there. I don't think Reid is leaving anytime soon. I think Reid is going to coach 5 more years. Why would he? Why would he? I mean. Holmes, you can argue, is still going to be in his prime for 5 years. I think the separation between Mahomes and unless he has a health issue or something like that, he has had a couple of health, but it's not, barring a circumstance like that, or he just has had enough, and I don't see it. I don't think Reid is leaving anytime soon. So I think even if Nagy is the successor, it'll be a while. Do the Ravens really want to sign Lamar Jackson? I was going to record earlier than this today, and I had some internet issues in the house there, and just for whatever reason I couldn't stream well enough to record. So I held off. So I went ahead and did a little research. I was reading. I was actually able to look at the presser with Eric DeCosta and John Harbaugh today. By the way, that is on the ravorisports page if you want to go ahead and check it out on the Facebook and Twitter page. If you want to watch the presser in its entirety, you can go ahead and do that. A little plug for the Facebook page, Twitter page. Again, they always John Harbaugh, Eric DeCosta, they always say the right things. Man, we want Lamar here. Lamar is our guy, and Lamar is this, blah blah blah. And they every time they're asked a question, again, he went with the company line. Hey, Lamar's our guy, and this is. I mean, they keep saying that, but again, Lamar comes out, says something different, and the deal is still not done. So they keep Harbaugh basically more or less laid it off on business. Hey, this has got to get done. It just takes its own time, et cetera, et cetera. But Lamar's our guy, blah, 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 blah. The process. He was asked the question again. Lamar said he wasn't consulted and things like that. It's like, well, those things are tricky. I give him credit. He gives all the right answers, and he should. That's the job. I mean, definitely he's media trained and he gives all the right answer. Eric does too. He gives all the right answers, etc. I'm not as convinced now, because this deal it's been a while. And Lamar keeps popping out with stuff that's opposite of what they're saying. So I don't know if that is true. And a lot of people want to dismiss Stephen A. Smith because they don't like Stephen or whatever. But if that is true, what he said, and Lamar still has not publicly refuted that, if that is true, what he said, that he is not on the, it does not have to be a guaranteed deal or anything like that, then what's the holdup? You keep saying you want to sign Lamar Jackson. You keep saying you want to have him here. You keep saying that he's our guy. You keep saying that, but you've taken 2 years to sign him. So, and he doesn't want the guaranteed money. What's the problem? I'm starting to more and more like, because it doesn't make sense. If all that is true, then why isn't it done? That's exactly what Stephen A. Smith said before, and that I mean, you can't in any work situation. People show what they think about you, your employer, or whoever it is, or clients, or whatever it is, show you what they think about you, what they pay you, and how they treat you. And if you're constantly having these miscommunications, constantly having these things, they keep saying that publicly, but the deal keeps not getting done, and Lamar keeps popping off in other fashion. So that's the thing I'm looking at here. In this situation. So definitely we'll keep an eye on this. I had to laugh at the 410 Sports guys, and shout out to those guys in the podcast. It's like we're not talking about this anymore. And I don't blame them, because we've been talking about the contract for 2 years, and I totally understand why they're tired of talking about it. I understand, but you got to talk about it because it hasn't been signed in 2 years. You got to talk about MVP quarterback in the contract. So, Orioles spring training report. So definitely look at the Orioles again. Spring training, getting that squared away for you this year. Again, one more time, let Masson know that you don't like the fact that they're only showing 4 games. Unacceptable on all levels. Masson, and I have to look this up again, but it's alleged like they are probably of the cable providers and all the channels that you have on your cable, CNN, et cetera, except for the paid channels like HBO or whatever. They get the most money outside of ESPN. A lot of these local regional channels, they get the most money per channel than anybody else. And the fact that they're not investing in like spring training games, like 4 games, that's just totally unacceptable. I've been railing on for. I did 2 whole streams talking about they had the network this week, but that's just totally unacceptable that you have that. So, Heston Kjerstad, this is my guy here. 2 home runs in the first spring game. He's been really good in early spring training. I don't know where he fits in the big plans. I'll say this, and I mentioned this about Austin Hayes and Ryan McKenna. They're going to have to step it up if they want to keep their roster spot. There's several guys in the outfield at AAA, like Heston Kjerstad, like Colton Cowser, that are really going to push these guys to produce. I think he was kind of slept on. A lot of people saw him as a prospect that, because he kind of forgot about him because he had the medical issue. So he kind of like fell off a lot of the top 100 MLB prospects because he didn't play at all. Now he's able to play, and he's been playing very well at Norfolk and Bowie. So now he's in his spring, and he's hit 2 home runs in his first game. So good shout out to Heston Kjerstad having a good start to the season in spring training. Wouldn't shock me if he actually broke camp. That's not a spoiler or prediction, but it wouldn't shock me if he broke camp with the Orioles. I think he is that type of talent. I think probably most likely in Norfolk, but has to curse that on the main roster. I think he's not that far. Overall time of MLB games are down. Baseball games, I mean, a lot of people say for years that they were too long. If you talk to anybody under the age of me, who's old, 40 plus, they don't mind the time of games or whatever, but a lot of young people, they forever saying that these games are way too long and they take too long, and baseball games, we're sitting here and nothing. So they made a concerted effort to speed the game up. They put the pitch clock in, and you see games now, a lot of these spring games, 2 hours and 34 minutes. 2 hours and 34 minutes. And that's great. You see now that the pitcher has to speed up, the batter has to speed up. You see bases are bigger now this year, where now they're trying to get more stolen bases, guys to steal more, move more on the base pass, and it's working, and that's good. You have to get the interest of the young people up in the game. It's just not there. Outside of young men that actually play the game or play baseball, or maybe if you're in a baseball family or whatever. But there's some people like me that grew up the way I did, and watched a lot of baseball. There was a time where baseball was bigger than football. That actually loses some people. That blows your mind. But if you're in the '80s, baseball was as big as the NFL was. That's a long time, and these changes are long overdue. Some of them. So good for them that they are going ahead and they're slowing the games down. A lot of these games down are have decreased in time, but it's very important that they go ahead and get that squared away. Grayson Rodriguez. So he had his first start in spring training. Was very good. Him and Adley, we saw them for the first time together in concert. Grayson has looked very good so far. He's going to break camp as your fifth starter or fourth starter. I don't know if he's going to be your number one starter. They really haven't decided on order, but he's looked really good here at the start. Grayson Rodriguez, which is very encouraging that he will go ahead and break camp as the starter. No other major injuries to report so far. As far as that's also good. The pitchers kind of like this part 2 innings, 3 innings. That's kind of all they're doing here at the start. Grayson, I think he pitched like 3 innings, so he looked really good. So shout out to him to go ahead. They're going to need him. Look, Orioles don't have the money to actually go out and spend $30 million, $20 million on a lot of these guys. So they're going to have to rely on the draft to go ahead and do it. And definitely that's why they're so big on having DL Hall and Grayson Rodriguez go ahead and start for them at the beginning of the year. All right. So as you see on the screen, we did the Orioles. Not Orioles. We just talked about Ravens mock draft to start. Now we're doing the larger NFL mock draft. Again, rules for the mock draft. We cannot do anything that is not happening. So a lot of people are predicting trades. This is going to happen. That's going to happen in the mock draft. We're not doing that here. We're dealing what is here, rather. Also, we know Jalen Carter apparently was arrested. Somebody was dead at the scene. This is reported, where of his injury, that somebody was dead, and he's apparently in the vehicle or something to do with that with the vehicle. All that is alleged and reported. So I don't know exactly what happened. For sure, I just took him out of the mock draft. This is going to hurt his draft days. So no longer, I had him 3 in Arizona. When somebody has a legal issue like this, you do a mock draft as if the draft was today. So he's not going to be drafted 3rd. So I went ahead and took him out. Hopefully, for his sake and all the people's sake involved in this, that this can be cleared up. Hopefully, I don't know if this was a happening error. I don't know exactly what happened there. So we'll keep following that. But as of now, I just had to take him out because he's got a very serious legal issue now that he's dealing with. So, all right, 2023 NFL mock draft. All right, so let's go Bears. And again, no trades. I know a lot of people think the Bears are going to trade, but Bears have the number 1 pick. They did not play well last year. I mean, everybody's forgetting that. Bears, because they won the Monday night game against New England. Bears, look, got the number 1 overall pick. We mentioned them, $88 million in cap space. That's way more than any other team. So they'll be players in free agency for sure as well. I think they keep Justin Fields. They take Will Anderson. This is the name that's been reported in a lot of circles. For them, I think he's going to be your first pick overall. Will Anderson is phenomenal. A little small. That's nitpicking. This guy wrecks games. Period. Will Anderson. Every time you see him for Alabama, you have to put 2 and 3 guys on him. He is phenomenal at his job there. As a rush-in, you see a lot of rush-ins early. Another guy, small size, Bryce Young. For me, I would take C.J. Stroud first. But I think more and more I'm hearing Bryce Young so far. I got no problem with anybody taking Bryce Young. There's nothing wrong with Bryce Young outside of the size. That's a real thing. He's about 5'11" and about 190. They're saying he looks smaller than that. But other than everything else is great. Reads the field well, multiple reads. You look at a young quarterback, can he do the second, third read? A lot of them can't, believe it or not. He does that easily. Best quarterback over the last several years at college, Bryce Young, 2 to Houston Texans. Tyree Wilson, game record. Outside, fantastic. Definitely here. He's a top 5. He's a top 5 guy. I think, if not been for Will Anderson, I think he would be the number 1 pick. Fantastic, Arizona. I mean, Arizona, they need a lot. They're not going to have tempting maybe to look at one of the quarterbacks, but they definitely they spent a lot of money on Kyler Murray. I think they might have, but they definitely got to fix that defense. Tyree Wilson, the outside linebacker. C.J. Stroud. This guy is my number 1 pick as far as quarterbacks. Absolutely. I think he's being slept on. Everything I liked about Stroud, I saw last year was phenomenal. Stats were off the page. Throws the ball very well. Feels the rush well. Throws a deep ball. More prototypical of a runner. I think they were shocked that he ran the ball. He had good speed. Definitely, I think that's a thing. When you're talking about running back, when you're talking about guys like this, Stroud, definitely. Colts needed bad. They've been taking a lot of veterans. Colts, I think, are going to be in the quarterback business somehow in this. Stroud is there. They take him. Miles Murphy, definitely a guy, outside linebacker, rusher. He's more of a DN, I think, than he is the outside, depending on what defense he goes to. Going Pete Carroll, I think that fits him. That team is going to have him definitely. I think they have more 4 technique Pete Carroll's defense. 3 or 4, more of the traditional 4-man line. I think that's better for him. Definitely 3 great pass rushers here. Definitely in the top spot. So definitely outstanding there. Those guys. Cornerstone Gonzalez. A lot of corners here. This is the first one. This is, I think, the best one. Christian Gonzalez. Definitely a guy. Day 1 starter. Put him in right away. Definitely put him in, especially in that division now. You may or may not have Aaron Rodgers. You never have enough corners to go ahead and cover. I think there's a lot of corners. He is a complete corner. He runs well. Not the best speed. of all the corners, but very, very good. I don't think you have to be the fastest guy. The number one reader. Easy to me that the Lions will go ahead and take a look at him at the 6 spot. No problem with that at all. Will Levis, our man Mel Kiper's favorite quarterback. I think this is overdraft. I think, to me, I don't. When I've looked at him, when he's playing Southern Miss, I don't think that I'm going to say that again. But that type of level team, he looks like a great quarterback. When he's playing Kentucky, when he's playing, it was at Kentucky. When he's playing Alabama and Florida and all that, I don't know. All the measurables are there. Big guy, great arm strength, throws the ball downfield well. Will Levis, I think, is. I think first round is probably right, but I think he's going to get taken by the Raiders. I think the Raiders are absolutely going to look for a quarterback. I don't think these guys are going to go in the first round early. These teams are not going to wait. There's too many teams looking for a quarterback. The quarterback is so important. This is the Lamar Jackson effect. Anthony Richardson goes to the Falcons. I call it the Lamar Jackson effect. Why is that? He can run very well, throws the ball a mile. His accuracy is nowhere in the building. Maybe he is a 40-50% accuracy. He's got no business in the first round. That's why I call it the Lamar Jackson effect. The measurables are absolutely there. He's by far not really starting. No way does he start. Why do you take him? Again, great arm strength, throws the ball well, very fast. Tough to bring down open field. Accuracy, not NFL starter level. Not yet. Might get there. I think I'd be more comfortable actually taking him in the second round, early, like mid-second. That'd be a good pick. Hey, you can develop him, but my concern with him is, okay, somebody's going to take him early in the first, and he's going to go in the first round. But that somebody's going to want him to start. He's not ready to start. Devin Witherspoon, another great corner. I think he's easily, and not been for Gonzalez, the top pick. Carolina's definitely going to be looking at corner. I think they miss out on the corner on the QBs, and they definitely take a guy. Definitely need to fix their defense. So this is a guy that can help them. You see the Eagles. They got really far this year. They got the pick Joey Porter Jr. This is a guy that played at Penn State. Father played with the Steelers. Fastest of all the corners. No question about it. Joey Porter Jr., great speed. A lot of tones I see Gonzalez and Witherspoon as the two elite guys. I think they're three. Joey Porter is outstanding. He wasn't quite as good, I thought, this season as he's been. I think that's probably possibly why they're saying that. But Joey Porter is right there. On to 11, Peter Stronsky. This is a typical Titans pick. The Telewan is not working out for them. They went ahead and got rid of him. You need to go ahead and replace that. They may be sticking with Tannehill, according to the combine. Let's saw. So that's some people were surprised by that. Okay, so they may be sticking with Tannehill. So you definitely need a left tackle to go ahead and protect your veteran quarterback. Jackson Smith Nigba is the receiver for the Houston Texans. So they go ahead and they take Bryce Young earlier. They go ahead and they take a weapon form wide receiver. They've kind of struggled at wide receiver. Well, they struggled at a lot of positions, but they're picking high. But this was the one guy for sure in the first round, no question. He is easily better than, to me, I don't think there's any question about it. He's a safe pick. The tough thing to tell about receivers is their route running. Even back in the old days with football, they didn't run pro offenses, so they would run a lot. So sometimes it was tough to tell. Nowadays, they run these spread offenses, and it's too easy to catch them, and you can't tell. So this guy here is definitely a guy who's route running is good. The negative, the only reason he's probably not higher is because he was hurt all last year and didn't play. So he goes to the Texas 12. Paris Johnson, another team looking for a quarterback. miss out. The Jets. I think they signed a vet. This guy here is a road grader. Definitely, you can put him on the left side for years. I think he's more. I would put him in the Jackson Smith-Mayfield category as far as like you know what you're getting here. So where Stronsky is probably higher ceiling here, not as high. That's why he's not picked as high. But definitely, you plug him right in and do that. Broderick Jones goes to New England. Definitely, here's a guy first round. Definitely another team looking for it. They're definitely going to need it the way Mac Jones played. Going to need left tackle. They kind of draft very well though. I kind of had a New England vibe with him on Broderick Jones when I saw him. They draft very well. He's going to a team that definitely knows how. Dante Scarnecchia is not there anymore, but definitely knows how to draft and keep these players. Michael Mayer, tight end. Back then. Michael Mayer, tight end for the Green Bay Packers. Definitely a guy that this is the best tight end in the draft, and it's not close. There's nobody else in the first round. Packers need it, regardless of who the quarterback is. They're going to need tight end. Easy. This guy is complete package. Size, catches the ball, and can block. No matter what they ask him to do, he's going to be able to square it away. He's going to be the tight end starter. Guy I have a little higher than others is Tyreek Stevenson. He's fantastic. Runs. He was at Georgia. He transferred to the University of Miami. Runs, covers extremely well. This is a steal for whoever gets it. The only reason I don't have him higher is the ball skills. He seems like he should have more interceptions. But the thing you really want with a corner for me, can he stay on the island and cover those great receivers on the outside? This guy has covered every good receiver at Georgia and Miami. So, very good. The ball skills is the only thing. He's got a little what I call the Ike Taylor in him. Great coverage, but you don't get the picks. And that's why I have him not in that higher category. But I love Tyreek Stevenson. He's an outstanding player. Brian Brees, the Steelers draft these great defensive tackles, nose tackles. Harris, they kind of need to go ahead and replenish that. Brian Brees from Clemson, outstanding young guy there. They could put him right in immediately, right there in that 3-4 that they've been playing for 1,000 years. Definitely the Steelers take a guy like this. You could possibly put him outside, but I think that a Steelers is perfect for him. Perfect for this guy. 3-4 inside, put him on the outside. Perfect, you can move him around. Kelly Ringo, Detroit, picking again. Corners, a lot of them in this draft. Georgia corner here, outstanding on that championship team, along with the 19 Deontay Banks, Maryland product. I think he goes in the first round. I like Deontay Banks. Very good. Tampa, they're probably losing Jamal Dean. Lots of work to do in Tampa. Why not take a guy in the first round here that can go ahead and help you, help that defense rebuild? Tampa, I don't think they're going to be any good next year. They got a lot of work to do. They're like a playoff team, I think. They're like they should be picking earlier based on what I think they're going to do next year without Brady. Lucas Van Ness. I was tempted to have him in New England because I saw the comp I saw with him is a lot of Joseph, is the Teddy, not Ted Cruz, Mike Vrabel, Titans coach, Mike Vrabel, Rob Nikovic, that type of guy. Set the edge. He'll get some sacks, but he'll set the edge. And I think putting him at D-line is good. I think he absolutely can do that. He's a run stopping, and I think that is his strength above all else. He's reset. Dolphins forfeited their first round pick violation. The Chargers, Quentin Johnson. I don't know if somebody's going to overdraft him. I see him higher. He doesn't belong higher. This is late first, early. That's what he is. He's not. He's not that. He shouldn't go that high. I think he has to develop a little bit. But the Chargers are going to be losing wide receivers, I think. Keenan Allen, we'll see what happens there. Mike, and also, too, the receivers have hard time staying healthy. So we'll see about that. Brian Branch, we already pretty much covered that. I will say this is definitely a Raven-type player. that they would sign. I think he has multiple positions you can put him at. Cam Smith, I think, is very good. The defense really missed Mike Zimmer, so they really need some help. This is one of these, again, a lot of these first round corners that are there. Definitely Cam Smith is a guy that you can go ahead and put in there. Maybe a bit of a nickel guy. Has that, as a nickel corner, I like him. Not maybe on the outside right away. It's going to take some time here. Jordan Anderson, I think you can also put him in the category of like a Quentin Johnson. I think he's going to be overdrafted. Jacksonville, I think they don't know if they're going to have Calvin Ridley. They may be losing some guys. I think they go ahead and take a guy like this. I think you could take a risk like this, frankly, if you're Jacksonville. This guy has a lot of potential. Great speed. He's a bit smallish, in my opinion, but I think definitely down the line you can have something. I think a good team is good for him, where he can kind of sit and wait, and he doesn't have to carry the load right away. I think that's good. Zay Flowers. I think a lot of his receivers are flawed. As good as they are, I think Zay Flowers has enormous potential. You could, like, if you just have him run 9 routes all the time, which is deep ball, he'll be just fine. He can do that. Funny enough, you got Daniel Jones on your team. Is not a strength, but deep ball, the 9 route. I think Zay Flowers is definitely he's got to develop as a complete receiver. I think he's one of these guys that people get mesmerized by the film. You see some of that stuff and wow, he's inconsistent. I think he's a little inconsistent for me. Vern Robinson, again, back in the old days, the 20 years ago, this guy would be in the top 5. I think the Ravens actually might do this if he's still there. I'm not sure they will, but this guy has that type of talent. Plug him in right away. I definitely think Dallas isn't going to pass if he's there. He's going to go in the first round somewhere. He's way too talented. Way too talented. Automatically, 1,200, 1,300 yards. No question about it as a running back. Osiris Torrance. Rarely see inside guys in the first round unless they're this good. He is that good. Very big, solid, move the front line. The Bills have had trouble with their offensive line. Put him in, plug play immediately. The Clark Phillips, I think he's the number 1 nickel guy in the entire draft. So they need help on the defensive. And I thought their back end was enormously overrated. Jesse Bates, I didn't like him as much as a lot of people seem to. I thought defensively they had some challenge. I think getting some help at nickel corner, I think, would help Cincinnati a lot. Anton Harrison, the cap challenged Saints. Again, big guy. John Madden used to say, if you get a guy coming from nowhere, he's a big guy or a fast guy. Anton Harrison, you can go ahead and put him in. Dennis Allen can use him. Eagles went to the Super Bowl. Emmanuel Chase is going to be your corner for them. He could easily go higher. I think a lot of teams like him. I have Stevenson ahead of him, but I got no problem. They take Emmanuel Chase. I think he also has that versatility as well. You could probably, I could see him in safety. I could see that. I could see a team doing that. I'd leave him at corner. I think he's a good enough corner. But I think a lot of teams, he's one of these guys. You could put him on the outside. You could put him on the inside. Definitely needed. And BJ Ojolari, the Chefs, go ahead, winning the Super Bowl. Go ahead and getting that squared away. He's a speed rusher. He has to be on a certain team. I think this is one of the teams that can use him. He's fast. He's one of these guys. The reason why he's not higher, usually the prototype for a defensive end is like 260, 265. Outside defensive end, that's about right. Usually for him, he's about 250. He's a speed rusher. He kind of reminds the the superstar comp is Hassan Riddick. That's what he is. Super, super quick. A guy like him, like a defensive end, is going to have a hard time. Like an offensive lineman attack, you're going to have a hard time getting your hands on him. Or Dwight Freeney, something like that. So, there you go. Mock draft, NFL. For this year, we're going to do a couple of these mock drafts. That's how we see it today. We are going to do one. Post free agency is going to matter as far as mock draft. Where free agents have actually signed is going to matter as far as mock draft. Also, too, we're going to see again what happen with Jalen Carter. He is absolutely a top number one draft pick, first round pick, without question. But legal issues right now are prohibiting that from happening. All right, so definitely we'll go ahead and take a look at that. Ravens again. Brian Branch, I have the first mock draft here, predicting him cornerback, safety. More, if you look more online and things like that, you'll see him more as a safety than you will as a corner. I think there are teams looking at him as a corner. He played pretty much his first 2 years at Alabama as a nickel corner, and then they moved him to safety. So definitely check him out. So had a little fun there. Mock draft. We'll definitely check us out next week. We're going to go do more spring training information as well as we go forward. And also, we'll do look at big board. Okay? So not doing the whole draft, but who's good all the way down. Regardless of position, regardless of need, regardless of those things. We'll do big board, and we will also go over that. And we're getting into March. That's March Madness. Terps again. Successful, beating Northwestern. So definitely we're going to see where they're seated here in the tournament. So definitely we're going to go ahead and check that out as we go into March, and we'll be going over that. So if this content was good for you and you like this type of content, like and subscribe to all of our social media platforms. So thank you all of you watching on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch to all of our content. Thank you very much for watching. You have a great rest of your day.